So as I've said in plenty of my past videos, I am a notorious underwriter. I think when I first finished my first draft of my manuscript, it was like 60,000 words. And I knew I needed it to be a full-fledged book, like it wasn't meant to be a novella. I just underwrote it. And then people read it and were like, this feels short, it feels like missing stuff. And I was like, you're right. So today I'm going to give you guys my 5 tips for how I beefed up my manuscript. Because I'm an underwriter, I can tell you from experience what worked and what didn't work. Okay, so let's get into it. Number 1, and this is something I know people hate and you don't want to hear it, but suck it up. And that is learning to set the scene. I don't know why everybody hates setting the scene so much. Like, I'm there, I hate it too, but your readers love when you set the scene. Like, it might sound obvious, but the amount of books I've read where the author never set up the scene is absurd. It works sometimes, but I'd say 9 times out of 10 it does not work. So you need to read through your manuscript and see, hey, is it obvious to the reader what is going on in this scene, where they are, and who is there? You might know it's obvious because it's in your brain, but your brain is not projecting a little movie into the minds of every reader who picks up your book. So learn to set the scene. Tips for doing that is use your 5 senses. What does the protagonist hear, smell, see, taste, or touch? I don't advise you using all of those in every scene that you set up, but some of them, in scenes where it's relevant, really help to transport the reader to where you want them to be. Number 2, and that is adding subplots. And I mean adding subplots that are brand new that you did not have in the story before. This is going to be a lot of work because it means substantial rewrites. But if your novel is too short and doesn't already have any or very many subplots, it's also going to be very boring for your readers. You can have subplots that are romantic relationships, or based around family issues, issues at school, issues with friends, or you can tackle more serious issues like drug and alcohol abuse or death. All of these subplots add not only length, but a lot of depth to your characters and your plot in general. I can't tell you which subplots are going to work best for you. You need to evaluate your main plot and think, what would make this better and more interesting? And then add it in. And boom! Watch your manuscript grow. Number 3, and this is the one I am so most guilty of, I'm going to just admit it to you right now, and that is asking yourself, are you showing or are you telling? I am a notorious teller, and that is because I read a lot of YA, and a lot of YA books are notorious for telling and not showing. So anyway, if you are writing middle grades, young adult, new adult, or adult, I would suggest showing and not telling. It'll also add a lot of word count to your manuscript. Number 4 kind of ties in with the second one, and that is developing existing subplots or character relationships. In my first draft of my manuscript, there were some friendships my protagonist had that I did not bother fleshing out enough. I didn't think I had the space. And then I finished writing it, and I had a lot of space to work with. So I went back and I decided to flesh out some of the relationships that I thought were actually super important to her, and I had just sort of put in off stage, like backstage, and then added some exposition in later chapters to make the reader feel like they were friends, instead of showing how they became friends. So you can combine the showing, not telling thing with character relationships or subplots into one, and boom, a beautiful word count baby. You're welcome. Not to mention, your readers are reading your book probably because they like the characters, not because you have the most original plot in the entire world. So they really want to see how your characters interact and relate to each other, because it makes your story unique and interesting, and it makes your characters feel real, which is what we all want anyway. And number 5, this is my most important tip, and you're going to kind of hate me for saying it, but don't just add fluff. You're not really adding anything to your word count if you try and add fluff, because you're going to get an editor who just tells you to cut it anyway. Because if you're self-publishing, you have to get an editor, And then if you're traditionally publishing, even if you don't hire one yourself, your publisher will hire one and they'll tell you to cut the fluff. So you might as well save yourself the effort and time now and just not write the fluff in there. Cut it out now. Instead, focus on adding meaningful content, like subplots or character relationships, or possibly even, controversial amongst the YA community, character arcs. Characters can have growth in a YA novel? Who would have thought? Don't just add things in there to add them in to make your novel longer. Readers, publishers, agents will all see straight through it and either tell you to delete it or give your book a bad review. So avoid all the heartache and stop it now. So if you liked this video and you thought the tips were helpful, you can leave a like and subscribe down below, or also leave a comment and tell me some of your tips for adding length to your manuscript. Because like I said, I'm an underwriter. I could really actually use the tips and advice. But otherwise, that is all I got for you today. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!